Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to what might be the most important episode of this season. I'm Miki, and I want to tell you something. If there's one voice that has caused more suffering in my life than any external circumstance, any hardship, any loss, it's been the voice inside my own head. The one that says, I'm not enough, that I'm too much, that I'm failing, falling behind, fundamentally flawed in ways that can never be fixed. Many years ago, I named this voice Lisa, and for most of my life, I believed she was telling me the truth. Today, we're exploring Metta, loving kindness, and how it transforms our relationship with the harshest critic we'll ever face, ourselves. Because what I've learned in sobriety and through years of inner work, we cannot heal in the presence of our own cruelty. We cannot grow in soil poisoned by shame. This episode is the heart center of everything we've been building together. It's where all the other practices lead. Because until we can meet ourselves with compassion, every other form of love remains incomplete. Take a breath with me. This is tender territory, and we're going to walk through it together. Lisa is my inner critic, the voice that has lived in my head for as long as I can remember. She's the one who whispers that I'm lazy when I rest, that I'm selfish when I set boundaries, that I'm foolish when I make mistakes. She's relentless, creative, and intimately familiar with every tender place inside of me. I named her Lisa years ago, trying to create some distance between her voice and my identity. If she had a name, maybe I could recognize that her thoughts weren't necessarily my truth. But here's what's been happening lately. I've been writing about Lisa for my upcoming memoir. Hour after hour, I've been sitting with the question of where she came from, why she's so cruel, what she's actually trying to protect me from. And something extraordinary has emerged from that inquiry. Lisa isn't my enemy. She's a frightened part of me that learned very early on that harsh self-criticism might keep me safe. If I beat myself up first, maybe others wouldn't. If I stayed hypervigilant about my flaws, maybe I could fix them before anyone else noticed. If I was mean enough to myself, maybe I could avoid the devastation of external rejection. Lisa was born from a child's logic. If I'm hard enough on myself, I'll finally become lovable. But the opposite happened. The more cruel Lisa became, the smaller I felt. The more I tried to perfect myself into worthiness, the more convinced I became that I was fundamentally broken. In early sobriety, Lisa's voice became deafening. Without the alcohol to numb her, I heard every criticism with startling clarity. You're failing at sobriety. You're boring without drinking. Everyone can see how broken you are. You'll never be enough. I remember sharing in a recovery meeting about 6 months sober, sobbing, saying I got sober so I could heal. But the voice in my head is so much worse than anything anyone ever said to me while I was drinking. The meeting host asked me something that changed everything. What if Lisa is just trying to keep you safe the only way she knows how? What if, instead of fighting her, you could thank her for trying to protect you, and then gently let her know that you don't need any kind of protection anymore? This is where Metta practice comes in. Metta is a Pali word meaning loving kindness or benevolence. It's the practice of extending unconditional goodwill, first to ourselves, then rippling outward to others. What makes Metta so challenging of a practice is that most of us find it easier to extend compassion to literally anyone else before ourselves. We can feel tenderness for strangers, empathy for people who've hurt us, patience for those who are struggling. But when it comes to our own suffering, our own imperfection, our own humanity, we meet it with judgment, with shame, with the harsh voice of the inner critic. Buddhism teaches that metta begins with self because you cannot give what you don't have. If your own heart is closed to your own suffering, your compassion for others will always be limited, conditional, or tinged with superiority. So Metta asks us to do something radical, to meet ourselves, all of ourselves, including the parts of us that criticize, with the same tenderness that we'd offer a beloved friend. There's something particularly cruel about the sober inner critic. When we remove the substance that was medicating our self-judgment, we're left face to face with years, sometimes decades, of accumulated shame. And our culture doesn't help. We live in a time of curated perfection where everyone's life looks flawless online, where productivity is equated with worth, where any visible struggle is seen as failure rather than courage. The inner critic thrives in this kind of environment. It weaponizes comparison. It turns healing into another performance that we can fail at. It convinces us that everyone else has it figured out, and we are uniquely broken. I've watched Lisa adapt to every stage of my journey. In active addiction, she said, "You are weak for drinking." In early sobriety, she said, "You're boring for not drinking." When I set boundaries, she said, "You're selfish." When I relaxed boundaries, she said, "You're a doormat." Do you see the impossibility? The inner critic isn't actually trying to help us improve. It's trying to keep us small, because small feels safe. If we never risk, we never fail. If we never claim our power, we never face rejection. If we never believe in our own worth, we never have to feel the grief of all the years we didn't. In my writing about Lisa recently, through sitting with her for hundreds of pages, finally asking her, "What are you so afraid of?" I learned she's afraid that I'll be hurt. She's afraid I'll be rejected. She's afraid that if I show up fully, authentically, vulnerably, the world will confirm her deepest fear, that I truly am not enough. So she tries to perfect me. She tries to prepare me. She tries to make me invulnerable through endless self-improvement and relentless self-criticism. And in doing so, she creates the very isolation that she's trying to prevent. Because when we believe the inner critic, we hide, we perform, we shrink. We present only the acceptable parts of ourselves, which means we never experience being loved for who we actually are. The Metta practice offers a different path. Instead of fighting the inner critic or trying to silence it, we turn towards it with curiosity and compassion. We ask, what hurt are you protecting? What do you need to feel safe? What would it be like if I could hold it? This frightened, hypervigilant part of you, with tenderness. It's not about pretending we're perfect or dismissing real areas for growth. It's about meeting ourselves with the same compassion we'd offer to anyone else who's struggling, scared, or simply human. It's about recognizing that shame has never healed or helped anyone. That cruelty, especially self-directed cruelty, does not create transformation. That we can hold ourselves accountable without berating ourselves. We can acknowledge our mistakes without defining ourselves by them. We are going to practice Metta together now. Loving kindness that begins with the hardest place, ourselves. If this feels uncomfortable, that's normal. If resistance arises, if your critic's voice gets loud, if you find yourself thinking, "I don't deserve this," your job is just to notice that with tenderness. Even the resistance deserves compassion. So find a comfortable position where you can be both relaxed and alert. Let your eyes close if that feels safe, or soften your gaze downward. Start by taking 3 deep breaths with me, arriving here. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, inhaling and releasing. Once more, breathing in and letting it go. Breathe normally. Place one hand on your heart or both hands, wherever it feels nurturing. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Bring to mind an image of yourself as a young child, maybe 4, 5 years old. See if you can picture this small version of you. Notice what you're wearing, the expression on your face, the innocence in your eyes. This child, this younger you, didn't yet have a critical voice. This child believed in their own magic, their own worth, their own right to take up space. Can you feel tenderness for this child? Can you feel the wish for them to be happy, to be safe and free from suffering? Let's gently begin to offer these traditional phrases of Metta to this younger version of yourself. You can repeat these aloud or say them silently. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Feel these wishes landing in your heart. Notice any resistance and hold that with compassion. Gently expand this practice to include your current self, the person you are right now, exactly as you are in this moment. You, with all your flaws and all your beauty. You, with your mistakes and your courage. You, with your inner child and your capacity for growth. Place your hand on your heart again. Feel your own great presence. And begin to offer yourself these phrases. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. If there's a voice that interrupts you, maybe saying you don't deserve this, this is selfish, you're not doing it right, just notice it. Don't say anything back. And just return to the phrases. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Now bring to mind a specific part of yourself that the voice criticizes often. Could be your body, your productivity, your sensitivity, your past mistakes, the pace at which you're healing. See if you can hold this part of yourself, this criticized part, with the same tenderness you'd offer to a dear friend who is struggling. May this part of me be met with compassion. May I hold this part with gentleness. May I release shame and embrace humanity. May I accept myself exactly as I am. Beautiful. You are learning to be on your own side. Take 3 more deep breaths, carrying this loving kindness with you. Breathing in self-compassion and breathing out self-judgment. Breathing in worthiness and breathing out shame. Breathing in metta, loving kindness, and breathing out any cruelty. When you're ready, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. becoming aware of the room around you. And slowly open your eyes. Thank you for practicing that with me. Metta, loving kindness, is the foundation from which I've built my coaching practice. And here is what I want you to understand. Practicing metta toward yourself is not selfish. It's not self-indulgent. It's not spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. It's the foundation of everything. When we meet ourselves with compassion, we become capable of genuine compassion for others. Not from a place of obligation or performance, but from overflow. When we stop demanding our own perfection, we stop demanding it from everyone else. When we can hold our own humanity with tenderness, we create space for others to be fully human too. This is especially true in sobriety. So many of us carry the weight of shame about our addiction, about the years we lost, about the people we've hurt. The inner critic weaponizes the shame, turning it into evidence of our unworthiness. But it's the shame that keeps us sick. Shame keeps us hiding. Shame keeps us believing we don't deserve the very healing that we're reaching for. The metta practice interrupts this cycle. It says you are worthy of love, not despite your humanity, but because of it. Your struggles don't disqualify you from compassion. They never have. In fact, they make you eligible for it. Since I've started writing about my inner critic in my memoir, something has shifted in our relationship. The more that I understand Lisa's origins, the more I can thank her for trying to keep me safe in the ways a child learns to survive. And the more I can gently say, I appreciate you, but I'm learning new ways to protect myself now. Lisa still shows up. She probably always will. But she's quieter now. And when she does speak, I'm getting better at recognizing her voice as one voice among many. Not the truth, just the frightened part trying to help in the only way that she knows how. This week, I invite you to practice metta for just 5 minutes each day. Put your hand on your heart and offer yourself those 4 simple phrases. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Notice what happens. Notice if your inner critic gets loud. Notice if the tears come. Notice if you feel resistance or relief or both at once. And whatever arises, meet it all with compassion. Because you deserve your own kindness. Not someday when you're perfect, not after you've earned it through enough self-improvement, but right now, exactly as you are, in the middle of your messy, beautiful, unfinished healing. You, dear listener, deserve your own kindness. Thank you for walking this tender territory with me today, for being willing to consider that the inner critic isn't your enemy, and self-compassion is not weakness. May you carry Metta into your daily life, meeting yourself with the tenderness that you truly and rightfully deserve. The Softening into Momentum podcast is lovingly curated, created, written, and produced by me, Miki Byrne, with accompanying sound bath frequencies by my good friend in recovery, Static. If you would like to check out more of his amazing musical work, please go to YouTube at Static is Noise. If this episode touched something deep inside of you, please share it with someone who needs permission to be gentle with themselves. Join us in my Patreon community, where we are practicing Metta together, supporting each other in the revolutionary act of self-compassion. And as always, you can find me in your inbox each week with my newsletter, Softening into Momentum, where I continue to write about Lisa, about healing, about what it means to finally come home to ourselves. Until we meet again, keep softening. Keep meeting your inner critic with curiosity. And keep trusting that you are worthy of your own love. Thank you for listening. Namaste.